Alright, I think we should be live now. Hello everyone, Metallic here. This is our doubleheader against Cardlinger. Yep, I think there is just a couple minute delay here. But that's alright, that's alright. Alright, great. So hey everyone, let's get underway. Alright, I think the stream is healthy. So just let's, just really quickly guys, thanks for tuning in. This is the second time I've tried this whole live streaming thing. So I think it's a lot of fun. I posed the idea to my friendly opponent over here, Mr. Cardlinger, who I've played quite a number of times, as you can see. If he was interested in doing a game, since we haven't played in a while. And he was down for it. And not only that, but we're going to try to double live stream it. Which I think is a first. We've done a couple games, and through ITSL, where we broadcast both opponents' hands in the same stream, which I think is really cool. The idea behind this one is, since he's streaming on Twitch, he's in basically real time. And since I'm on YouTube, I think you have the ability to go back and view certain parts of the stream. So maybe you can be watching Cardlingers and then switch over to my stream if something like big or important happens, so you can see my reaction to it. Or maybe you can do it in reverse. So I think that makes for kind of a cool dynamic. You can listen to our commentaries individually at certain parts of the game. Thanks Smex for clarifying that. Yeah, 7 or 12 because I am behind the 5 leaders of the conferences. So, looking at our hand for the first time, really don't like that we're holding both decal and CIA. And other than that, we're really low on headlines. And we've got, oh boy, so this is a challenging hand here. So let's get to playing. There's one last ground rule, guys. Both of our streams are in real time, so there's obviously the chance someone could watch his stream and pop a comment in mine about his hand or something. I'll be watching the chat for now, but if I start seeing like stuff about his hand or stuff like that, I'll just have to pop out and stop monitoring it. But I think the honor system is going to work just fine. It actually worked really well in the last stream I had. I think Arab Israeli War is probably my headline here. I know decal is a really great turn 1 headline for USSR. If you're holding defectors, I think it could just absolutely wreck the US, because it double threatens France and Thailand, which are the two most valuable battlegrounds in the game. But with a hand like this, I could headline CIA, but that's disastrous, I think. So we will do our best to event CIA before getting blockade out, and we'll just headline Arab Israeli. Asia scoring. So decal would have been disastrous to him. That's a little bit unfortunate. Maybe it's an indicator he's got Europe scoring as well. We do win the Arab-Israeli war, which is always pleasant. Okay. So that's a little unfortunate. That gives him adjacency into Afghanistan or Pakistan. Knowing my opponent, I'm expecting... Ooh, Red Scare Purge. He headlined Asia over Purge. Yeah, so he's 100% got Europe in his hand, and I cannot really contest that. But the good thing is he has not gone into either Afghanistan or Pakistan. Well, so that's weird, because he... that's interesting. What does that mean? Another danger, too, is if I event decal before playing CIA... sorry, if I play CIA before eventing decal, he'll see I have decal and just get Thailand. So if there was ever a time to go into Iran with decal, it's now, while the DEFCON is at 4. Oh, what am I saying? The DEFCON's at 4. He can just coup me out. So trying to plan out how to get CIA out of my hand. Considering I also hold 5-year plan, I mean, spacing 5-year plan is also disastrous. We really want to avoid that at all costs. Spacing Marshall Plan is probably my priority, but we can't afford to space right now since we're also holding CIA. And I really don't want to get EEU out of my hand, because that even further weakens my Europe. So we've got a bit of a challenging situation to mitigate here. It's all about when we get rid of decal. Do we get rid of it now, or do we coup lower the DEFCON? I feel like lowering the DEFCON just gives him Thailand. And he can always get Fidel out of his hand too, so the whole point of keeping decal in reserve to play CIA for free is kind of moot, because at some point, you know, the whole point of decal now is to secure Africa and to get Asia. There's really no chance we can get France now. It's a tough decision, because I can jam EEU into Thailand if we play decal now, and then we can event CIA. I mean, that just gives him a beautiful Middle East. With Asia being scored, I think I'm just going to go for the coup now. So now he's totally out of the Middle East, which in its own sense is very valuable. But we have to be really careful not to give him an opportunity to get in. If I had to make a guess, he'll probably try coming in through the back door of going through Algeria, then Libya. But since we're holding Marshall Plan, it's harder for him to get adjacency to Syria. He did have Fidel. He did have Fidel. And he coups and is successful. That is disastrous, guys. Oh, that is disastrous. Okay, so my whole strategy there just totally wrecked me. Alright, well, the benefit to this is we're getting rid of 5-year plan, but we, hoping to ditch CIA then ASAP. Gotta hold the China card too. So yeah, we didn't play that optimally, probably in hindsight. And as expected, there's Europe. So now we need to space and basically telegraph to him. We gotta give him Marshall too. Holy cow. Oh, that so badly obliterated us. Oh, that's disastrous. Alright. Now he knows for a fact that we have CIA. Not the start I was anticipating. But it's a start. So, the point about Marshall being gone, I totally get. About Europe scoring being gone, but it's the activation more so of NATO that really scares me. Because NATO, and another thing too, is when you play Marshall, it's basically a guarantee that you're not getting Europe scoring to be favorable for you for the rest of the game. And the best you can ever do is to level it. In turn 1, that's just a lot that you're basically giving up by doing that. But I do see the point taken that Marshall is more eventable here. We know for a fact he doesn't have the Middle East, so I can. I think we need to pressure Pakistan. Oh, whoa, not that. So, I mean, we got Thailand, so it's not like we ended that turn with nothing. So, Syria, 2 into Iraq, and then 1 Thailand. This Marshall Plan. And then how to get rid of CIA has got to be at, really, it's got to be at like the top of our to-do list. So we're probably giving up Algeria or Zaire here. Okay, so he's not going to get containment for the ops, which I think is valuable in itself. And see, we can't blockade him out of the Middle East now. So that's well played to him. Need to get presence. Then what do we do with the last 2 ops? Maybe just go into South Korea. So Asia's looking pretty good. Europe scoring came out, and I mean, you know, we're still even on victory points, and Middle East hasn't yet come out, so it's not disastrous for us. Clearly far from ideal, but we did get lucky with the not Indo-Pac, Arab-Israeli. Didn't win the coup war, but can't win them all. Okay, we're lucky that, well, first off, we're lucky he failed, but we're also lucky that he didn't break. Okay, so we have Duck and Cover and Nuclear Test Ban, both really nice cards for us to be holding. Happy that we have Truman, we can safely event that. We can space Duck and Cover. But we're kind of hurting for a headline here. Obviously, we need to get Middle East scoring to be favorable for us, so... The thing too, if we headline Korean War and it fails, we've just given up Korea. I don't think Korean War can be a headline. Similarly, the threat of, okay, so let's say he headlines Olympic Games. With the way the card works, I don't think it's possible for me to degrade the DEFCON. I have to double check the wording of the card. Let me look it up. I just want to be sure. I don't think if he headlines Olympic Games, if he can degrade the DEF CON if I headline CIA. And we hold Duck and Cover, which I think is the only other card that can degrade DEF CON in early war. I don't know. I mean, we're not headlining CIA. So I'm not even going to worry about it. I guess we could just headline Truman and get it out of the hand. In fact, that's exactly what I'll do. In case it gets defected. And it does get defected, so... I'm happy Defectors... Well, actually, no, I'm not happy Defectors came out. The ideal scenario would be We're dealt Defectors in turn 3, but, you know, that's not bad either. And now we just need to get CIA out, so we'll give him the coup. Yeah, see, that, for sure, keeping Truman in the deck is beneficial to him. So, he gets CIA out, but it's not devastating. He can't get into Venezuela with CIA. He can't really threaten anywhere nasty. He is going to know we have Middle East scoring, though, but... I don't think he's going to be able at all to prevent it from being my domination. Especially if he's holding Nasser.
The challenge of the 20th century is the challenge of human rights and not of impersonal natural forces.
He could try crewing Syria, but I don't think that does anything. I think crewing one of the one stabs in Africa is probably his best move. And he's got to coup somewhere, because then I can just coup Iran, and then the Middle East is very easy to score. If we space Duck and Cover very soon, then I think we can guarantee we get 2 space attempts off. If we space before he does anything in space, then we are guaranteed to get 2 space attempts off, which is very nice. And I don't want to give him Duck and Cover or NORAD. If it comes to that, I'm just gonna have to hold NORAD into turn 3. Which isn't the worst turn 3 hold, because there's a chance you can draw UN intervention. And 3 ops is pretty good. Yeah, so he does use it in the Middle East. And he does coup. So the question is, what now? I think we've got a pretty good hand here. He will be able to keep up the tempo. But we'll go for it. Iraq or Saudi? What's better between Iraq and Saudi? So Iraq is vulnerable to the late war attack cards, but Saudi is vulnerable to selling arms sales. We have to go into Egypt regardless, so that one op I think is easy. We don't have to burn our 4-op just yet, because strong players can... He knows what my hand is, so he can start really putting pressure on me. So we'll do this and sort of wait and see what his play is going to be. NORAD, though, he could fill up Canada, in which case NORAD just becomes 100% unplayable. I mean, it's hard to play even when Canada's at 2. But when it's at 4, I think it's just that much worse. But at higher skill level games, it doesn't really matter anyway, because they're gonna... It gives me Comic-Con, which I'm a little happy about. Okay, so... He's trying to get domination for himself. Which is reasonable. I want to go into Czechoslovakia. So now I think it's time to start upping the tempo here. We've really got... Oh, we've got one action round to play this, because we're considering eventing Korean War or playing Korean War into Asia. Yeah, we've got work to do in Asia, so I can't be putting around in the Middle East. West Japan, so he's fighting for Middle East scoring. Do we give him NORAD here? We have to. We've got 3 action rounds left. Event Korean War, play NORAD, and if we go into Egypt and Libya, it's impossible for him to score it. Yeah, I think we have to give him NORAD here, and I'll go into... Alright, so now we can't even score it for domination if we get both Libya and Egypt. We're going to Libya and Egypt anyway. I'm going to give him NORAD. We're going to be eventing Korean War. Well, Korean War gives us our 2 mil ops, but then he can just go into South Korea. He's being annoying. Maybe we're playing poorly. It's one of those things where I'm actually kind of happy we're live streaming this, because I've been in quite a downswing lately, and with there's the expected Nasser, which will help our... Cool. For lowly 1-op. For 1 BP. We've been a really bad downswing, so I feel like games like this are actually super valuable because they're live streamed, they're commented. You guys can sort of see what the deal is, and if I'm playing terribly or I'm making awful mistakes, you can let me know, and hopefully, you know, I can get back to where I was. I've been in quite the free fall in terms of play deck rating. I think at my peak I was like 1850, 1875, and now we're below 1750. And like at the absolute bottom, I was at 1700. So, you know, play deck rating isn't the end all be all. There are other ratings that I think are more important, but you know, it is an indicator of how well you're playing, to a degree. I mean, obviously, some of those games I was just destroyed by bad variance and bad luck, but it's not, you know, it's not the golden excuse that you can bring out at all times. You know, sometimes you're legitimately just making bad plays and bad moves. And when I started the YouTube channel, I was maybe 1700. Over, I'd say, the last year of playing, I've improved from 1700 all the way up to 1850, and I credit a lot of that with the fact that I've actually been uploading videos of myself playing and getting the feedback from the comments, and that, and watching my old games too. All of that I think has actually been super helpful to my increase in rating as a TS player. So, Korean War here is tough because it's 2 VPs, and but I don't think we can give that up. I think we just have to go into Korea. So, yeah, Norai doesn't play, and he can try to jam it, but I don't know, maybe it was a mistake, because, I mean, obviously the benefit to eventing it is he has no adjacency to North Korea too. But it can come back later on in the game. And I think that we're pretty solid in our domination of Asia at this point. You'd have to go into 2 countries. And he's giving us Vietnam revolts too, so we're guaranteed domination of Asia here. Even if he flips Thailand, it's still our domination.
So my country's purpose is to help us move out of the dark chamber of horrors into the light,
this is interesting.
to find a way by which the minds of men, the hopes of men, the souls of men everywhere
I can headline sock
can
govs
move
and then
forward
just ditch Europe for
toward
free.
peace and happiness and well-being.
And then that saves Thailand too. It is really gross, but that's what we'll do. Because I think 5 VPs is definitely worth, and the saving of Thailand, 100% it's worth the giving up of the AR1 coup. But it's going to be another round where we get no mill ups. That's a sign of a good player, is good players will always put you under so much pressure, you're having to make these tough decisions where you're giving up some of your tempo. Let's see, what does his hand look like? He's got D-style. You know, that sucks. Looking through the list here. Blockade. Rehold Romanian. De Gaulle leads France. Indo-Pak War, which isn't disastrous here. Although something to keep in mind. D-style, as I already said, and Formosan. Yeah, he's also got Formosan. So it's actually not that monstrous of a hand. Yeah, he just headlines Blockade. And he just ditches D-style. But we ditch Europe. I think that was worth it. And he doesn't even go for the Arrow 1 coup, he immediately fills back up. So I need to play Special Relationship now. Overprotect. And go into Saharan States because he's still, his DEFCON is still at 3. So this way I still get a battleground even if he coups a 1-stab. So that gives us some nice tempo. And also, if he coups, going into a non-battleground gives us the opportunity to coup back and recover some of the mill ops we lost. So the goal is free for him to event. Oh, he's just going to space. I think maybe he forgot that the DEFCON is at the level that it's at. I think that's the case. But he did ditch decal and D-style, so we're not getting any more help in a in Asia or Africa here. The fact that he won that space is kind of annoying. So now we have to think, because I'm almost certain he has forgotten the DEFCON is at 3. Do we coup now and try and get some of our tempo back? Because we can coup into Panama and have a really nice Central America. And the question then, too, is do we ditch NATO with UN intervention or duck and cover? And do we give him the opportunity to space twice? Because double spacing is pretty powerful. But he has ditched our 2 best cards, so hard to imagine what else he could need to space that we know is in his hand. We already know a good percentage of his hand. Yeah, I see a comment that NORAD isn't as strong as people think. Most of the time I agree, but in that circumstance he did get us to give up the Era 1 coup, which is pretty strong, by going into Thailand. So, you know, you have to, it takes you a couple turns, I think, after well, NATO and NORAD. In terms of NORAD, which I think the comment was, yeah, the comment was about NORAD. The thing about NORAD too is if it's in play for the entire game, it can be really frustrating. I've had games like that where the opponent gets a ton of initiative because of it. But in circumstances like this, I think it was absolutely the right play to make. Another question, I'm thinking of giving up NATO just because Special Relationship's been played and Europe is already scored. So I think NATO is pretty easily playable here. So we've got the 50% chance to flip the Middle East, which is, you know, not something to scoff at. Or the 66% chance we take Panama. I like our chances at Panama. Because the Middle East, we have other ways of attacking. And, yeah. That's not what I had in mind. So that was a disaster. But we get our mill ops in pretty easily, actually. Oh boy, okay. Okay, Asia scoring is going to be annoying then. I'm going to give him the chance to, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's going to be hard for us without Laos, Cambodia. Or we could just go into Nigeria here. mean, it's going to be hard for us to get domination anyway. So I'm just going to secure what we have already. Yeah, you can't... I think where a lot of people tend to get into trouble, where I tend to get into trouble, is being overzealous. Trying to go for too much. And I think at this point, with him getting Laos, Cambodia, Asia is kind of lost. I mean, we do hold the China card, and we do have plays we can make later. But, I'm just going to have to see what I can do about playing conservatively. Spaces De Gaulle, that's interesting. I'm actually kind of happy about De Gaulle staying in the deck there. And we might as well head play CNS. Because I don't know where I can do at this one op that's useful. Overprotect an Asian battleground? I mean, it's already 3-1. So even if he flips 1, it becomes 2-2. I mean, I don't really see anywhere else I can go, honestly. I could get more adjacency to Nigeria, but we'll play CNS. Oh well, played UN intervention. So what am I talking about? I'm gonna have to. I was thinking that it was the last action round. These are the sort of mistakes that I don't think players at higher ratings than myself typically make. Knowing how many action rounds are left in the turn. It's kind of an unforced error. But as far as our goals for that turn, they were ditch Europe for free, keep Thailand, and then get more battlegrounds in Africa. We did all of it. You know, we did all of it. The one thing we didn't manage is to secure Asia domination. But I don't really know. You know, I honestly don't think there was much we could have done about it. Well, and we'll keep going into Israel. Because why not? We could overprotect Thailand some more. Oh, we've already got adjacency to Panama. He's probably going to be eventing Indo-Pak War here anyway. If I had to make a guess, that's probably what his next play is going to be. And us going into Israel puts him in a tough spot, because when the USSR gets Israel and have as many battlegrounds as we have, yep, there's the eventing. Ooh, nice job for him. So see, this is why playing harder in Asia would have been a mistake, because I think he's done a pretty good job of sewing it up there. So this is a less than ideal set of cards to have in addition to Middle East scoring, but we do have Brezhnev, and I think Brezhnev is far and away the best headline at my disposal. Yeah, this is less than ideal. Probably gonna have to coup with Portuguese Empire into Iran and hope for something big. Later on in the turn, we can try going in Afghanistan and flipping Pakistan with the China card. I think a lot of high-level players I've heard like to play the China card at the start of the mid-war. Especially because CIA is out of the deck. But because it activates your card, it activates a cultural revolution, and it deactivates one of his cards. It deactivates Nixon. So for that reason, it's not a terrible play for the USSR to give up the China card, especially if it can flip you Asia Dom. So That's going to be one of our goals, get into Afghanistan and flip Pakistan. But we probably won't have the ops to do that if we're fighting him in the Middle East as hard as we're going to need to. If I can ditch Middle East before CDA and before I need to play CDA and Sadat, that's really an ideal circumstance, actually.
I believe that this nation should
And if he headlines a DEFCON degrader,
goal before this decade is out of landing a man.
it's not too bad either, because then I can just run into Israel and then score fast domination, and then my hand is basically freed up. I'll be right back, guys. Excuse me. The fact that he's thinking for so long could be a good sign, and it could be a bad sign. He could be debating Voice of America. He could have both Voice of America and grain sales, which would be awful. And he picks up probably the worst card in my hand for him to get, which is also unfortunate. Although Sadat or CDA would have been bad too. He's probably gonna event this and put it into Chile would be my guess. Chile and probably Haiti or Nicaragua. Probably Haiti. He's already got access to Nicaragua. So one Chile, one Haiti would probably be how I would play this. I am kind of regretting not putting the NORAD op into Laos, Cambodia. That would make it much more certain that we could fight for Asia. But also with us not having... Oh, he coups with it, and he returns it. I kind of like having that card. Because now I can just space it. So do we event Portuguese Empire? It's 3 ops and it gets us Middle East domination, and we need to score that ASAP. So we'll play it for ops. And the other advantage to him cooing in the headline doesn't give him a free op through NORAD or NATO. I always confuse those two cards. So if I say NORAD and I mean NATO, I think you guys will know what I mean. So he's under a lot of pressure now in the Middle East from his perspective. Oh, he's going to event shuttle diplomacy. Well played, sir. Well played. That's frustrating. So now what do we do here? I could jam a battleground and make it look like I've got Muslim Revolution. In which case he's in a terrible spot because he's got a debate between giving it up or not. But with this hand, I think I've just got to ditch it. Because I can't afford to keep Sadat and CDA in my hand activated. But there's no rush. I think I'm just gonna go off in space first because we're both adjacent to this. I don't want him getting the space moved off before me. In the last few games I've played, it always seems like whenever me and the opponent are tied on a space, like I always seem to fail for whatever reason. So my space luck has been pretty bad lately. Which is one of the reasons why I probably would have evented that card if I was him. Because he gets the ability to threaten Cuba. He gets into South America. Maybe the thought of me spacing it didn't occur to him. That would probably be my guess because I would 100% be eventing it there in that circumstance. I don't know. Either way, it's out of my hand, so I'm happy about that. And I'm probably going to keep 5-year plan on my hand, too. We're going to be giving him Sadat and CDA. But with Middle East scored, it's not terrible. It's 4-2. So I see why he did that. I could consider flipping Lebanon. And honestly, that's something that hadn't occurred to me. That's actually... Yeah, I don't know why I hadn't thought of that, but that's actually a pretty smart play if I had done it. But in my hand, I just don't have the ops for it. We'll threaten Pakistan here. I don't think the risk of him going into Pakistan is high, because it's basically neutral. I'm just going to dump Middle East, because I don't see a way of us getting it. So, Shuttle gets played for probably the best reason. It saved him 3. Saved him 3 VPs there. We're going to start really struggling now because we've got to start making plays here. We've got to start figuring out how we can score regions. It's going to be hard to score South America now for our domination. We could get adjacency to Cuba, because if he realigns us out of Cuba, it's a nightmare. So, we're gonna make a play for Asia here, and I think he has to overprotect Panama first, and then we'll play adjacent to Cuba in the next action round. He plays Containment again for the Influence, which is interesting. Yeah, so he's probably got Central America scoring, and for that reason, I will secure my Cuba. But we're now really starting to fall behind in the VP track, and it could be hard for us to catch back up. That's something we got to be mindful of. We did neutralize a lot of his good cards. He plays it for Influence. That's good for us, I think. So now it's easier to play CDA, I think, because he's already put that one Influence there. What now? We could try cooing Costa Rica, which just feels stupid, honestly. Could try threatening somewhere. Oh, we could flip Laos, Cambodia. And that forced him to go into Japan, I think. And if anything, it just gives me more adjacency to Thailand and improves my Southeast Asia scoring. So I think that's a decent play. It makes him think we could have Asia scoring ourselves. Because now we've gone into Afghanistan and Laos, Cambodia. We've got 7 countries. We just need one more country, and we're good on country count, like really good. So Southeast Asia scoring will help us if we can manage to maintain Thailand. Obviously, we just need to start overprotecting things. Because Asia is dangerously not overprotected. As is Africa. So there's a lot of work we need to do on this board. I'd say it's probably leaning towards the US here. My opponent's played pretty well. Yes, looking back at the comments, we had an interesting game back back in RTSL, but fortunately me and the person I'm replying back to, we both secured our promotion to like the top league of the RTSL, so that's going to be pretty exciting to see how that goes. But you know, we're going to be up against the likes of you know, Shaq, Russo, I think Z is in there too. Yanis, just a lot of really good players at that top level. So that's going to be quite the challenge, I think, to maintain our position there. Yeah, that's smart. So we need to start overprotecting everything. So yeah, I mean, we gave up the mill ops again, but I don't know where else I can coup where those mill ops are effective. I think overprotecting is more valuable here. And we still have 5-year plans, so we can go for real lines if we need to go for them. Central America, I think, can very easily be flipped, and Allende still hasn't come out. So there's a lot of things here that make, there's a lot of things the USSR can hope for. He's gonna go for Nigeria. He rolls another 6. He's having a lot of luck on these Africa crews.
We dare not tempt them with weakness, for only when our arms
Okay, so this is exactly why we were holding 5-year plan.
can we be certain beyond doubt that they will never be employed.
We have OPEC too, but it's only worth 2 VPs. I mean, 2 VPs could very easily be the difference between winning and losing. Liberation, though, I think, especially since we know Defectors is out, Liberation is, I think, the easy headline choice here. So now the question is, do we go for Panama or Mexico? We could put 2 in Mexico, 1 Guatemala, then coup Mexico. Or we could do a similar thing with Panama. Panama gives us access into South America, which is valuable. But he could immediately go for a realign to get us out. CRG. So I'm really happy that we've got 5-year plan in Africa scoring. But Thailand is going to be a challenge. We're probably going to have to use a China card to maintain that. So 1 into Thailand is a given, and we're not having a lot of luck here with the appearings of our scoring cards. Not our scoring cards, but of Quagmire. Quagmire is a card we really need. And we're not seeing it. So that really makes me think he's got Southeast Asia scoring. Like, really makes me think. We'll go for Mexico and Guatemala. And, it's going to be really hard for us to maintain a coup war at the hand that we have. Yeah, but Mexico is just so much more valuable. I mean, Panama Canal 2 makes Panama less palatable. Because we're going to have to be giving him Panama Canal this turn. So I don't want that to be able to attack. So I'm going to go for Mexico. So we roll just well enough to make it work. And we're going to have to overcrew with like Eastern European Unrest or OPEC or something and really hope we roll big. Because if you roll like a 5 and you've got like 7 influence in Guatemala or something, then there's just no way he's going to be counter-couing that. So, we can get rid of Africa with 5-year plan. Other than that, what are our goals for this turn? We've obviously got to go into Southeast Asia. I mean, this is going to be a pretty Asia-heavy turn from us. We can't play the China card. So that... Oh, that's a consideration. I was anticipating playing the China card to get Thailand back. And I just realized I can't do that. Huh. Yeah, the China card is like frozen in my hand here. Huh. Well, that's a consideration I hadn't thought of. The flip side to that being, let's say he does flip Thailand. It's 4 VPs to him. I think it's going to be really hard for us to eke out a VP lead unless we get really lucky in South America or Asia somehow. So he does go for Thailand. Yeah, there's a 3-opper, so he's flipping Thailand here. Now he's got the domination. Oh, it's 3 battlegrounds to 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't think we can get... That's full played to him. I don't think we can level up the country count. We could jam US-Japan somewhere, because that's also going to have to be played this turn. I should have double overprotected Thailand. That was my mistake. Instead of well, so what I did last turn was we overprotected North Korea, overprotected South Korea, and Thailand was also overprotected. So all 3 Asian countries were equally overprotected. But I should have considered, because what I was thinking when I did that, what I was thinking was no matter what, we would always be able to flip Thailand with the China card. It's just an unexpected wrinkle that we're also holding a 5-year plan that we need to use for Africa scoring. So in that way, it's really unlucky we drew Africa scoring, because that prevents us from flipping Thailand back with the China card. And I'm hoping he goes into Japan, because that way US-Japan becomes free for us to use. My opponents definitely played it well here. We did get to keep Warsaw Pact in the deck all the way until the end of the game, and we're going to be able to space John Paul as well. So, you know, Europe, it looks really weak, and it is really weak, but at least, you know, he's not going to be able to event John Paul on us. It would be really nice if we had some cards start coming our way, like Quagmire. That would really help us out. We're in kind of a tough spot here. you know, midway through the game, this is kind of the point where I feel like you have to really start thinking about how you're going to be able to get out of this. And that does not help. So that's really... Yeah, so he's going to be able to get us out of Mexico. That actually makes me really happy we were able to put an extra one in Laos, Cambodia. That stopped him from being able to flip it with VOA. So, yeah, we're going to have to go and play give him Panama Canal returned, but that's unavoidable. So, well played to him. He gets us out of Mexico. Keeps us from dominating Central America. It's going to be hard, too, now, because with Liberation gone, it's going to be hard to get into Mexico. So we're really hoping we see him go into Japan here. Okay, spaces MR, that's reasonable. Ooh, he fails. Okay, so now we space. And we succeed! Okay, so that's a bit of good luck for us. There was one game I played with Cardlinger, like, a couple months ago, where it was turn 10, the board was even, and the VPs were even, and we were both adjacent to this. We were both on man in orbit. He got to space first, he failed, I spaced after him, and I won. And those 3 VPs that I won were the difference maker in that game. So those are, you know, the kind of things that that determine games. Sometimes. Hopefully not here. It's always kind of gamey whenever you win off of something like that. Oh.
I believe that this nation should commit itself
I'm hoping that he just has to,
before this decade is
like,
out.
ditch a card for neutral or something, like Central America scoring, so then that would give us India. So he's in a tough spot. If he's got anything less than a 3-upper, it's a challenge for him. If he's holding Lone Gunman, that's beautiful, because he's only really got limited options to work with, if that's the case. Brush War would be beautiful if we drew it next turn. I'm really happy that we went into Laos, Cambodia when we did. That was more so just to protect for the next turn when he gets his one up from NORAD. But it ended up being basically perfect timing. Oh no! What? So I don't play it now. I do give him Africa scoring. That is disastrous. Holy cow. Oh wait, no, the card still gets evented. Oh my gosh. I thought for a second that he would get the I thought for a second that he would get the ops from that and I'd have to play Africa scoring, but all it did is it just got Africa out of my hand. That is something else, guys. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Oh my gosh, that's great. Oh man, that's definitely a moment to remember. So puppet governments will play to him. So South America is looking pretty bad now. Oh, I just realized my volume is off. In the chat, can you guys hear? Oh, this is muted. I do kind of like having some ambient noise, so sorry, I didn't realize that this was off. There we go. Allende, I think, is the obvious headline choice for us. I'm very happy he didn't get one small step. This is a really good... This is actually an amazing... amazing hand for us. So Allende and then coup into Argentina, perhaps? Or coup into Venezuela? Either one works. Alright, he hits us with the trap. I want to hold Usuri through the reshuffle, so we'll ditch Omit. So is there going to be a reshuffle? That's the question. There will not be a reshuffle if he doesn't discard with Ask Not this turn. It's very likely he does hold Ask Not. But I feel like if he was holding it, he could have headlined it. The fact that he didn't headline it. Huh. So there's a chance there's no reshuffle. I can still space 2 ops. Obviously, because we're not headline peeking. Omid or Usuri here? I think the likelihood of a reshuffle is helped by the fact that the China card wasn't passed around. I've held the China card basically the entire time. And I think DEF CON is going to be probably one of the primary ways we try and win now. Because it's getting more and more likely he's holding Lone Gunman. In fact, if I was him, I would consider eventing Lone Gunman now. If I was holding it. But he also could have Ask Not. So, considering there's likely not going to be a reshuffle, I'm leaning more towards Usuri. Well, if he gets Ask Not... So, I'm just going to hold Usuri anyway, just to be sure. And it's good we get out of it in just one roll. That's actually pretty fortunate, because I've had a number of games where... lately, where I just cannot get out of either the trap or... whatever other situation. Just kept rolling 5s, kept rolling 6s, stuff like that. So now he's in a tough spot. That's a huge win for us to get out of that quickly. So he does use We Will Bury You for influence. When he goes into Asia, so there's a chance he's got Asia scoring. Do we want to give up the China card here? I think it's reasonable. Ah, smart play. Asia scoring is worth 6. We could jam it with the China card and use a 4-opper. I think it's worth jamming. Especially since there's also a chance he's holding Cultural Revolution. The power cards, Brush War, and ABM are out there. And it's very likely he's got at least one of them. So that's not ideal. So if he hits us with either ABM or Brush War, I mean, so ABM, let's talk about those two individually. ABM does not hurt us that much. It's kind of weird to say, but the fact that in South America, Central America, we're in no 2-stab countries, and in Africa we're only in Algeria, means that its effect is relatively limited. He could try something like realigning me out of Iraq and Libya, but I think that's unlikely. I mean, we have a good enough hand here. I think we can afford to do an ops race in India. Considering he prioritized Asia over South America, I think it's likely he's got Asia. So, yeah, ABM for influence. So that's a win at least, that we forced him to play ABM for the influence. So, that's at least one thing we've got going in our favor. But, so if he's got a 3-opper... Man, this is actually, those ops are really badly needed in South America. And if all he needs is a 3-op card. So let me do a quick recap. Let's see what 3-op cards are still out there. Brush War, Arms Race, CMC. Yeah, there's so many 3-op cards out there. I just don't think I can do this. I don't think I can. So we're gonna go on Argentina with Suez, which. Try and get something somewhere else on the board. If he hits us with Brush War, I think I'm just gonna have to cry and just sort of take it on the chin. That would be devastating. Yeah, that's oh, he fails. That is stupendously lucky. That is very lucky. We're going to keep expanding here. That's actually a pretty nice win for us. That's absolutely massive. Yeah, so there's CMC. So one of the benefits to playing all these high-op cards, him playing them, is that, I mean, he had a really nice hand, is it makes my jam of Flower Power in India have a higher likelihood of succeeding. I'm just going to have to space Central America now. Just improve my hand. Not space it, but event it. We have Truman too, and that's totally safe to get rid of. We have to improve our Europe too. I mean, there's a lot of... Our board position is definitely not ideal here, I'll say that. And it's hard to find, other than DEF CON, a way for us to victory. I was hoping for a second without the reshuffle, if we can manage to flip Asia and maybe somehow eke out a domination in South America. Well, that's... Yeah, that's unfortunate. So we'll see what we can do about trying to get a country in South America. If we can dominate South America, I mean, at least that's one thing we got in our favor. But looks like at this point there's not going to be a reshuffle, which is also really bad for us. I don't think I really needed to overprotect South Korea earlier on. I could have double overprotected Thailand. I think that was the key mistake for me in the game, is not double overprotecting Thailand. Because I mean, I always have Korean War in the reserve if I need it. I don't think it's likely at all he's going to be jamming South Korea. Yeah, so this is one of the situations, guys, where I think NORAD is absolutely worth it for him, because he flipped 2 countries in Asia with it, and then he scored Asia domination, which is just massive. I mean, at this point, I think we're solely playing for DEF CON. So we've got to, if we're dealt, if we're dealt Cultural Revolution, it's 100% eventing. Oh boy, he's got Chuta. So he's got basically every power card in the deck. Wow. My, oh my, oh my. So, I mean, if we don't overprotect Argentina, I mean, we've got to get our Millops in. That's 100% necessary, because giving him Millops here would easily put him over the 6 VP limit. And as I said earlier, it's going to be hard for us to... Alright, well, that's nice. Maybe we can somehow try and score a cheeky South America domination. Oh boy. That's not pleasant. That's actually a really good card for him.
For the first time, because the people...
What? How did a reshuffle happen? I mean, I'm really happy that we got dealt Quagmire and Brush War. I mean, that's beautiful, but how did a reshuffle happen? There was no... So he's got Ask Not and Lone Gunman, so DEF CON is getting unlikely, but how on earth did a reshuffle happen? Where do we discard any cards? He didn't get Omit. He didn't get Ask Not. That's really strange. I wasn't expecting that. Wow. Maybe you guys in the comments can say how that came about, but that seems really surprising to me. Yeah, I don't really know what to say. That is really bad for us, obviously. We're gonna just have to pray that we hit the double Brush War in South America. So we're gonna have to hit Brazil with Brush War, coup Venezuela. So Quagmire is obviously has to be our headline. It deactivates this card, which has destroyed our Asia. If we can somehow get South America control, that's exactly the sort of thing we need to get back into this game. Shy of that, it's going to be an uphill battle. Oh, and he got grain sales too! Please don't pick up Brush War. Please don't pick up Brush War. I picked up Salt! Well, there's nothing in the discard for him to pick up, but that's unfortunate. I was hoping to be able to double Brush War him. Yeah, so we got one card after the reshuffle, and he got grain sales. And I got Brush War too, so, you know, it's not like it was too unfortunate, but the one card that came into his hand after the reshuffle was grain sales. Yeah, I think this one is going to be an uphill battle to win. I mean, cooing Argentina is a must for him. he coups Brazil. I'm not sure what the rationale for that was, but we're just gonna have to pray this brush war lands.
But the vindication of right.
It does not land.
But both peace and freedom here in this hemisphere, and we hope around the world.
What if he had to discard Ask Not to
Will be achieved.
I guess his reasoning was, since he's under Quagmire, I can start jamming countries in South America, which is, I guess, a reasonable train of thought. And he gets out of it quickly. Not looking good, guys. Not looking good at all.
I believe that this nation should.
Yeah, that sequence there, I think, kind of seals it for us.
This decade is out of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the earth.
Losing Salt is super unfortunate too, because I can't hit him again with Brush War. Although, really, in my hand, there was really no card he could have picked up other than Truman, which would have been good for him to get. So yeah, that Grain Sales was well played by him. There is the eventing of Ask Not. There goes Lone Gunman. He's interested in View 2 as well. That's interesting. Oh, we need the China card back, so we're gonna get it back. Not really sure what situations I can try and machinate with Defcon now that Lone Gunman is out of the deck, but it's going to be really hard to see a path to victory for the USSR here. Because I don't think there's any regions I can score favorably for war games. And it's going to be really hard to flip any of these regions too. I mean, Middle East with Iranian hostage crisis would flip to me. Yeah, that's really surprising. I was 100% convinced a reshuffle would not happen. I think someone commented about how a lot of starred events got taken out. I mean, yeah, he would have destroyed us if he evented that. But well, I mean, with Khrushchev out of the deck, it was very eventable for him. So yeah, we're gonna have to ditch South America scoring. I don't see a way for us to score that positively. If he had evented Missile Envy there, we would be crushed, because then we'd have to immediately give the China card back. It's a good event by him, so now he's in War Games territory. So we're headline peaking, which is great. We can try and get some VPs back on the space race track. We're gonna have to event South African unrest as well. Europe is extremely weak though, without any overprotecting of Poland or West Germany. So we can't event arms race, which is good. I came at the right time. He can realign us out if we're going to Angola, but I think I'm going to go into Botswana just for the case of cooing Angola and trying to realign him out of South Africa. Because we're really going to have to try and do these crazy plays if we want any chance of getting back into this. We're going to have to hit him with Indo-Pak War for sure in Asia, and it's going to have to land. I mean, there are paths to victory here, make no mistake. There are paths to victory for USSR, but it's going to be hard. And there's a chance he could redraw Lone Gunman in turn 10. If a reshuffle happens in turn 10. Actually, no, there won't be a turn 10 reshuffle because there was a turn 7 reshuffle. Muslim Revolution would fix the Middle East. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways that I can try and play this. It's just definitely not going to be easy. Let's look up here. Yeah, he did jam West Germany. Sorry about that. Oh, if he was card counting, he knows I have Truman. Huh. Wow. Yeah, that is good. Huh. And I also got rid of, yeah, because we were hit with grain sales, so he knew. That's a really smart play. So he knew that we got hit with grain sales. We weren't going to be able to hold a card, which, I mean, that's obvious. But he knew that the one card we had to have was Truman because of card tracking. I usually don't card track the mid-war reshuffle that hard. But now I think I kind of need to because it just destroyed me. Holy cow, that just destroyed me. I mean, there's really no chance of us getting Europe domination anyway with how overprotected it is. But that is rough. Holy cow, that is rough. I mean, I don't want to give up the China card here. I'm gonna have to classify this as not safe for kids on YouTube.
Но посмеетесь, когда мы, знаете, обгоним вас и скажем: господа капиталисты, до свидания, наш поезд сюда идет. Пожалуйста, за нами.
Oof. We lose our headline peaking ability too.
But surely one such lesson, learned by the world at great cost, unopposed, becomes a contagious disease.
Well, guys, I've got all red cards, but I've also got enough scoring cards. It's going to be impossibly hard for us to, it's going to be so hard for us to be able to score these positively, especially Europe. Oh boy. Oh boy, I mean, even Sock Govs, I mean, we could do the same thing we did turn 1. Oh man, even D-Style doesn't save East Germany. Oh boy, this is so gross. Oh, guys. Oh, this hurts. How do we even play this? Because we've got to get Middle East scoring favorably with Muslim Revolution. So Muslim Revolution's got to be an event at some point. We have Liberation, which is great for Central America. I mean, it's like we've got 3 cards, 3 scoring cards, and the 3 event cards that are best suited to save our positions there. Yeah, this is interesting. I think my timer is getting low. This is not ideal. So I don't even know how to play this, to be honest. I mean, Europe, I think we just have to give up on the idea of Europe. I mean, we can hold Sock Govs until the last action round, but he's just so overprotected. It's going to be, I think, close to impossible to be able to score that for neutral. I mean, so the only other alternative, we headline Sock Govs and then ditch it AR1. But then that gives up any chance of scoring Central America favorably. And we also give up the AR1 coup, which I really don't want to give up. I mean, I think we're at this point, we're both gonna flag, so he's even lower on time than I am, so I'm not gonna be that guy who calls time. I think at this point I've basically the result is somewhat clear. So
tear down this wall.
That's a question. Do we headline Sock Govs here? What else could we really headline, right? Good headline, Europe scoring. How I learned. Interesting. If he degrades it to 2, then Europe scoring is a immediate easy play. He did it! He degraded it to 2! Yes! Nice. Twice in one game. Yeah, so that's not too unexpected. So well played to him. We had a bit of headwind that game, but you know, I think we had our chances. That one play of NORAD absolutely obliterated us. That you know that cost us the game 100%. He. So the next game will start really quickly. I just need to run downstairs and get like a bottle of water or something, and we'll start up with game 2.
The totalitarian world produces backwardness because it does such violence to the spirit, thwarting the human impulse to create, to enjoy, to worship.
Alright, I'm back. We'll hop out of this lobby. He said 1742, and it's 1741, so I'll accept it. So we'll get right into game 2 here. And off the bat, I'm actually pretty happy with this. Well, I'm not happy that we've got blockade. Either way, we'll just wait a couple more seconds until we get it underway. Huh. So the more I think about it, the more I'm actually not liking my hand, because we're going to have to basically double space because we're holding Suez, De Gaulle, D-Stal. Well, we don't have to double space because we can use blockade on D-Stal, event De Gaulle. And I think that defectors is... It's either defectors or CNS, but considering we're spacing anyway and we're already holding CNS, and we're already going to be spacing anyway, like I said, I think defectors is probably better. So hopefully we can get a nice lead on the space race track. And hopefully we're dealt a decal that we can hold through the reshuffle. Okay, beautiful. It's a good start. Thinking through, Eastern European Unrest is really the only card we have at our disposal to counter crew with. The challenge with that, though, is we need to get... So I'm really hoping he fails. That's really the only way we can easily get into Malaysia. Because otherwise, our hand is actually Barrette of Ops. Oof. Big oof from me. Oh, okay. That's a win. So now we can get into here. Yeah, that's really good for us. The AR1 coup of Italy, if it succeeds, it obliterates you. And in my game against Striker, that's exactly what he did. Is he AR1 couped Italy, even though there was 4 influence there. He rolled a 6, and after that, I was basically just wiped out. You know, there was very little momentum I could put together. But we're very lucky that failed. Because now I think we've got some momentum of our own. So now we can go into Egypt before eventing Nasser. And we get the Malaysia adjacency that I was talking about. Or I could just discard Blockade now. And go into Malaysia immediately. So, here's another consideration. What if he jams Italy with another 4-op card? And he's got adjacency to France. And I don't have an easy way to stop that. Oh, huh. I think I need to get adjacency to Italy. Oh man. So here we're immediately under a tough decision here. Do we event De Gaulle and not get the Thailand adjacency? I mean, the thing is, what if he events Vietnam revolts and gets adjacency immediately? If he so let's run through the scenarios here. He events Decal, gets into Algeria and adjacent to Thailand, in which case I think we have to play De Gaulle anyway. There's the scenario where he events Vietnam revolts, in which case I think we just have to give him, in which case that's a worst case scenario because then he gets Thailand, in which other case. But if he does have Vietnam revolts, then he can coup Thailand anyway because the DEFCON is at 4. I mean, this is kind of a soup of thoughts. But I feel like Thailand is already kind of gone if he's either got Vietnam revolts or decal. I mean, it makes it harder for him to get, but if he's got Vietnam revolts, he's cooing with +1 anyway, and we have so few ops in our hand that are actually usable. I don't think we can fight that. Like I don't have any 2-op cards in my hand I can just play. So yeah, I think De Gaulle's the best move. If he's got decal, then I'm playing De Gaulle anyway. And even if I went into Malaysia. And if he's got Vietnam revolts, I don't think there's any way that I can protect Thailand. I don't think there's any way I can even get Thailand, so I think I have to play De Gaulle here. So, that gives us a little bit of tempo back. He duck and cover. Huh. Is he jamming France? Oh, he's cooing. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So, Malaysia and Egypt seems reasonable to me. I don't think he's going to be jamming France here under any circumstance. Or Italy. I mean, the risk, unless he's holding Truman, but I think we've got priorities we need to address on other parts of the board. Namely, getting adjacency to Israel and getting adjacency to Thailand, so we can't protect every threat at once. So maybe we could have just put 1 in Egypt, but yeah. That makes sense. So now we will event CNS. So we do get space first. So far this is going alright. Okay, where is this going? Okay, South Korea. Fortunately cannot defend against that right now. So what do we do? Do we go into Thailand, or do we keep playing Middle East? Do we play in Europe? If he had Europe scoring, it would have been fired off, so I don't think he's got Europe scoring. Alright, we gotta really think about this. I really don't like Italy being at just 2. But the fact he hasn't jammed it already is a good sign. And Suez is going to be a must space. So I'll say we'll space Suez now. And we'll wait and see what happens in the next action round. Because we do kind of have a little bit of tempo there. So gives us an action round and just kind of wait and see what he does. Okay, Indo-Pak War. So he should be going into... Yeah, so he keeps pressuring South Korea. I can't fight that, unfortunately. So France is pretty safe now that all of the cards that would drop influence there have been played. So I think I've got to give him Blockade. Or I could space D-Style or play Blockade. I think playing Blockade is better, just to get it out of the deck and allow us to draw hopefully better cards in the next turn. We'll keep working on the Middle East because we are going to be giving him Nasser. Yeah, it's a tough situation. I can't even get... So, obviously there's no way we could get Thailand with this hand. I don't even think we're going to be able to fill up Europe. Yeah, that's a straight stinker of a hand we had. I mean, we are advanced on the Space Race tracker, which is really nice. A really common situation I feel like I run into is, and I mean, this is a really good, it's both good and bad, but if you're US and you're not dealt any spaceable red cards in the early war, that puts you in a really rough situation. And same thing with the USSR. I mean, you need a certain percentage of spaceable cards be entering your hand, because those are your opponent's best events. And if you're not getting dealt any of those cards, it means he's getting all the good events. Oh, that's really lucky, actually, that we got containment. That's actually extremely lucky, so I can space Nasser now. Do I want to space Nasser is the question.
Of the 20th century is the challenge of human
So,
rights and not of impersonal
it's interesting.
natural forces.
I could go into Thailand with Nasser, but I don't think there's any way we're going to be able to level up Asia. I think Asia is his, with him having South Korea adjacency to Pakistan. Even if he gets Thailand, what difference would it really make? Going into France is what's interesting. France and Libya. Because regardless, we're going to be ending up with one Middle East battleground. Because he can coup Libya, and then we can just go into Egypt. Yeah, I think that's probably the best play. So at least we get Europe domination this way. Hoping we get Asia, and we do get Asia, and we get decal. So that went pretty well. So he's not going to be able to... or he could have Vietnam revolts. Even if he's got Vietnam revolts, which it's likely that he does, there's no way for us to fight it. He's just, at that point, he's just got Asia. It's his. So we're gonna really hope that he doesn't have Vietnam revolts. Yes! Okay, beautiful. But we've lost Italy. That's why... Oh, maybe I should have considered overprotecting Italy. Yeah, C5. I was hoping we wouldn't... I mean, to be honest, though, what other good headlines did he have? Because we've taken away all of his D cards. Yeah, I was really hoping we'd see anything but C5. That's the danger of not overprotecting Italy. So, you know, it's kind of like... Yeah, I think Europe scoring should have been the play because... For the explicit reason of C5. Because, and the reason for this, is obviously if he gets C5, then he flips Europe to his domination. And if we... the best we can ever do in Asia is to level it. That's really rough. So I don't even think cooing is... I mean, do we coup here or not? Because if we play Europe scoring immediately, we give up the coup and we give up our 2 mil ops. And we don't even have a 3-opper that we can use to get presence back in Egypt. This is bad. Yeah, Europe scoring was the headline there. Yeah, it's just so rare that you have 2 ops in Italy. It just... That play is never really... I've never seen that before, where C5 was able to flip Italy. But I should have been thinking about it. So, you know, in a way I'm kind of happy it came out now, because now I can kind of expect it in the future. But it's tough. I mean, even cooing, like, basically at that point, you're just protecting Panama. And then he gets Europe domination, which is worth 4. So I'm gonna give up the mil-op VPs. Oh boy. You know, and the tough thing is I can't even contest this. This is so brutal. Oh my gosh. My hand is just so bad. The only way I can get presence now is to go into Jordan. So now he knows I've got basically all 2-op cards in my hand. This is absolutely brutal. He plays independent reds. Yeah, I would have played Romanian earlier, but I had to get presence. At this point, I think we're basically just playing for DEF CON now. Well, no, I mean, a lot can happen. I think the odds of him leaving Italy unprotected is got to be close to 0. Yeah, I can't fight this. Like, my hand is so unbelievably bad. I can't fight this. I mean, what do I even do here? Oh man, this is another one of those videos that's gonna have to be rated. I can't even tap Italy because Because at that point, I have to give up Truman. Because we want to be holding decal through the reshuffle, so... It's like, what it... Ugh. So we're going to be getting controlled in the Middle East here. Oh my gosh. Oh, guys. And, I mean, even going into Israel is not good either because Arab-Israeli hasn't come out yet. So you could be waiting to hit us with that. Yeah, I mean, I can't give up Middle East control. It's just... It's already at 7. Oh boy, guys. Oh boy. I mean, yeah. I mean, if he wants Israel, it's basically his. Might as well get Thailand. I mean, our ops are just so critical here, so it just feels really gross spacing Korean War, but, I mean, what else can we really do with it? We have to overprotect Thailand, or else, So he's got 1 action round left, so let's pray he's got Middle East scoring. Let's just absolutely pray he's got Middle East scoring. Oh, that... Maybe it wasn't optimal to give up Korean War there. Maybe it should have been spaced, but... Yeah, it should have played Romania instead of CIA. But... Well, no, because USSR goes first. So the whole point of why I don't think I could have played Romanian sooner is because I had to give up Europe scoring turn 1 so we weren't dominated. Or I could have couped, but... And in fact, maybe in retrospect, coupping was better, considering now we're on path to getting controlled. But we gave up Europe scoring AR1, and then we had to play a 2-opera to get presence back in the Middle East. And then he played Independent Reds. So we didn't really have tempo there. It's a 5-year plan. We'll see what he discards. For immersion. He did not have Middle East scoring. We'll protect Thailand then, because that's yeah, so that I don't think that was played optimally.
Of the dark chamber of horrors into the light. To find a way by which the minds of men, the hopes of men,
this is going to be another tough hand to mitigate.
Can move forward toward peace and happiness.
So card tracking, he's got Marshall Plan. Duck and cover, he does not have duck and cover. Arab-Israeli war. Warsaw Pact formed. Marshall Plan. US Japan was UN intervention. Turn 1. And Defectors. Oh no, sorry, Defectors was also played AR1. Turn 1. I feel like I'm missing a card. Oh, sorry, you guys can see the scrolling. I'm scrolling on my other monitor to look at the list of cards in the deck. Look, Arab-Israeli war, we know for certain. We're holding Kamakan. Warsaw Pact formed. It's guaranteed to be in his hand. Marshall Plan. Maybe EEU? No, we had EEU. Yeah, I guess we only know 3 cards that are in his hand. I mean, I think we gotta ditch Middle East scoring before it gets controlled. I think that's really our only reasonable headline here. It's brutal. We are fortunate it didn't come out before the reshuffle though, so that's the one thing we've got going for us. And he has no ability to get to Thailand, so that's good as well. And if he goes to Indo-Pak, we can hit him with Indo-Pak War. So I mean, we've got chances to play for Asia. So it's a bad hand, but it's playable. That's not ideal. So he's getting up to 18 victory points. Yeah, I agree. Europe scoring in the headline was probably better. Alright, well. We'll go in Algeria because we both have adjacency to it. Yeah, headlining Europe scoring would have been a much better... I mean, headlining Europe scoring would have basically turned the entire game around. Because then we would have scored it for domination instead of his domination. Well, we didn't score it for his domination. But yeah, that just obliterated us. And again, I didn't foresee the possibility of him flipping Italy with Cambridge 5. And obviously I knew Italy was at 2 influence, but again, I've never seen the play where Cambridge 5 can flip Italy before, so I should have been looking for it. But fortunately I wasn't. Okay, we can't space 2 cards, but we weren't going to be able to space 2 cards anyway. Yeah, headlining Europe would have definitely made this one playable.
Sobre la cuestión acerca de si la lucha armada es el único camino para la liberación, lo que puedo responder es que, por lo menos en las condiciones de nuestro país, no había otro camino.
So I guess we need to event Indo-Pak first, because he could hit us with Arab-Israeli if we give him Europe. Okay, so we're not in risk of losing the game on VPs this turn now. So we'll trot on as long as we can. He doesn't event it, which is good. Now we've got to give him Europe. So, this is, I think, one of the reasons why I really enjoy putting videos up on YouTube. Because for whatever reason, I feel like if you make a mistake like that, it's that much more memorable. So I guarantee you I'm not making that mistake again. If I was him, I'd just go into a battleground or a non-battleground. So I guess we'll go into South Africa. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, I agree. The app distribution has not been ideal. Okay, we'll see what he gets rid of. Nothing, because he was hit with card earlier in the turn. Or he played a UN intervention. So it's not looking good, guys. We're hoping we can somehow defcon him. Oh. Oh no. Well, that's bad. So, bear trap him, 3 in Southeast Asia, ditch Asia scoring. That still gives him 3 VPs. Yeah, I think I just got too greedy putting that 1 into France instead of Italy. That was definitely me getting too greedy.
And freedom here in this hemisphere. And we hope around the world, God willing, that goal will be achieved.
Oh, sorry about that. Okay. Hoping he failed. He doesn't fail, so now I have to go into Southeast Asia, I feel.
En las condiciones de la inmensa mayoría de los países de América Latina, no hay otro camino que la lucha armada. Y esa parece ser la situación también en muchos otros países de Asia.
I mean, even if he coups Zaire, he's got Africa domination too. So, I don't really... It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard to get out of this. I mean, as far as playing ops, I don't think any of the cards in my hand are actually eventable. Like, I've got Arms Race, and that's fine, but like Liberation gives him a really nice Central America. We Will Bury You is basically suicide, and then Suez Crisis, I mean, it's possibly playable considering Europe and Middle East are both out, but still, it's just terrible. And decal obviously is not good either. I should have ditched Asia first. But I don't, to be honest, I don't think it really makes much of a difference. Okay. So happy that came out before Liberation. If he gets the space first, we're in deep trouble. Okay, that's good. So what do we even space here? We Will Bury You I don't think is spaceable. Liberation's playable. I think Decal is the only really bad card. We also fail. Another thing to consider too is he's getting mill-ops. He's going to be up to 18. Oh, actually no, sorry. He's got Southeast African states, so we'll be able to get mill-ops ourselves. Have to give him Liberation. We're giving him Suez too. Oh, that's brutal. You're never in a good shape when Muslim Revolution is being used for influence. So now he gets Suez.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
Brush war for influence. I'd probably be eventing it into Algeria, but no, what do I even do with arms race now? Maybe Saharan states? Yeah, this is really rough. I guess Israel. Not really much places I can use my ops.
We dare not tempt them with weakness. For only when our arms
Okay, well,
are sufficient
grain sales will
beyond
help
doubt,
us with Africa.
can we be certain beyond doubt that they will never be employed.
I mean, we can't threaten him with DEF CON if he's holding CIA, because he's also got the China card. Okay, well, he knows we have Africa. Oh. Yeah, I don't think there's a way I can survive this. Well, I can try cooing and hoping I roll 6s, but other than that, well, that's a good start. Okay. He gives up the China card, so maybe he is holding CIA. Just gotta keep going for it. That's not good enough, though. That doesn't help either. That's another 6, so I mean, we're rolling well, at least.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
Okay, so he gives us puppet governments, which will allow us to level Africa. But all of the puppet government's influence has to go into Africa. Well, actually just one. But it's still giving him 3 VPs. Alright, well, we're just gonna have to hope that he's got South American scoring. And whenever you're US and you're gonna lose by playing a scoring card, my philosophy is you should always lose by held scoring card. Because, I don't know, maybe something weird will happen, and for whatever reason he somehow defcons. I don't know, but, you know, staying in the game basically until the last possible moment. Alright, looks like that's it. Alright, well, thanks for tuning in to my doubleheader against Cardlinger here, guys. Obviously the second game didn't go as we wanted, but I think the first game was actually really good. Let me know if this whole streaming thing was fun for you guys. We've actually got some pretty good viewership, I think. So I think it went decently well. But, you know, let me know if you guys want to see this in the future, and have a nice weekend. So take care, and later, guys.